Did you know that over 60% of the population doesn't budget? That is crazy. Absolutely crazy. I have not always been the best budgeter. I tend to just I was putting money away in just big chunks and saving a lot and trying not to spend. But I've since fixed that and built a better system. And this is what I work with my clients on in order to help them budget and put that money to work at the end of the month that they have left over. So it is very simple. All you have to do is look at what your income is coming in, and then look at what your expenses are that are fixed, meaning the things that you need to survive. Your electricity bill, your home, your rent, your food, those things. And then whatever you have left over after that, then you can start allocating toward things that are less of a necessity for you. So that could be self-care, that could be your gym, that could be vacation money. You start to put those dollars that are left over into buckets, but that is the money that's left over, and you put each of those, that money, all of that money that's left over to work in one of those buckets, such that you get to $0 at the end of the month. So that is really as simple as it goes. I'm going to walk you through my budget as an example first, and then walk you through the money that I should not have spent, that I did spend, and if I had zero-based budgeted, what it would have looked like and how I would have done this differently. So what you can see here is that on the page, you can see that I had income coming in of $8,822. So that was after I contributed to my pre-tax 401k, and I had expenses such as premiums for insurance and benefits at work. So that was the income I had coming in. And then I had all of my fixed expenses. So you can see the things that are not highlighted are my fixed expenses. Some of it's a little bit generous. I have things here that are at $0 as well, that would not be considered fixed, or things that I need to survive, but you can see that they are not allocated toward. There wasn't many spent there. So if you look at my budget, you can see that there's mortgage, $1,770 a month. I have HOAs that I pay to, or HOA fee of $326. I have other expenses like my gas bill, my internet, or my electricity bill, groceries, really things that you need in order to survive, right? Car, gas, parking. So I've left all these expenses in. And then the things that are in red here, you can see this is where I spent way too much, and that I probably should have pulled back, or should have zero-based budgeted for. So you can see I spent rent, $670 per month. That was for a place that we had gotten where we were renting an extra place for a little bit. And then we have kids' education and fun, spent $812 there. Other childcare, $1,000, interior design, another $1,000. So because I was not paying attention and doing my zero-based budget, I ended up overspending by $2,333. What you see down here in the red, that is way over what I would have expected, but because I wasn't tracking it, I was just tapping my card. I did not know how much money was going out. And that is typically what happens to people, is that they just don't know how much they're spending. They think they're not spending that much. And because they are not tracking it, they end up overspending. So what this looks like in zero-based budget world is, yes, again, you look at your income that you have, you take your fixed expenses, and you see what's left over. You take out anything else. And for me, once I take out those other expenses, that $670 for the rent, the kids' education and fun, the Ubers, the other childcare, interior design, you can see that I actually had $1,300 left over at the end of the month that I could have allocated. So with that, what I would do, given I know all of my fixed expenses now, I have this 1317 that I have that I can put into different buckets. If I know that these fixed expenses are going to be fairly consistent, I know that I'll have $1,300 at the end of every month that I can start putting into buckets to fill for vacation funds, for anything else that's more discretionary. This is what I do for all my clients. It's not hard. It just takes 20 minutes for you to do, and it requires tracking. So the one thing I will say you do have to do is, take a look at your budget, your expenses as you're going through them. For some people, they want to check it daily. Some people will check it weekly. Some people will do an envelope system and take out money. For me, what I personally like to do is if I know I just spent something, I will go head into that bucket and make sure I look at exactly how much I've spent in a particular category. And if it looks higher than the month before, I could sort of take pause before I even make that purchase. Before I purchase anything discretionary, anything that's not my living expenses, I go in and ask myself the question, do I really want to order out? Do I really need this new shirt? And how much do I want? How much of this is digging into the amount that I have left over? I know that I have left over at the end of the month, which is close to $1,300. And if you can consistently look at that $1,300 and know, okay, if I spend on these three purchases, I know that I'll only have $300 left. That is something that you can track, and that makes it more easy to track. By doing that, this is the result that you get. So when I do zero-based budget, I am able to stack money. I'm able to contribute more to my Roth, my high yield savings account. That is how these balances that you see here down in yellow got built, is me knowing that I have a great amount of money at the end of the month because of the fact that I've reeled it in pretty significantly. So I would love to help you do the same. That's what this community is all about, is helping everyone budget, because budgeting is the base to investing. It is the base to being able to have that financial freedom. You have to know what you're spending. You have to know what you have at the end of the month so that you can put that money to work into investments later. So that is what I focus on. And that's what I help this community do, is everyone has a budget that they're working. We do this together. And we grow together. So if you're interested, continue to like and subscribe, get involved. And we look forward to having you in this community.